We got this gate here with the vines coming down, and those basically are just arrows coming down. And then we got like a good source of light that is lighting this part, probably coming from here. So you can definitely see the enemies popping out a lot, because this is actually your first encounter. So as a player, when you start the game, you need to learn how to shoot that NPC. So the first encounter is always easy and guided. And you can see right away in front of you, we got plenty of covers that you can take, kill the guy. And then we will see already there's one here. So probably after we kill those 2 guys, there's gonna be a few more guys after that. And another thing that we learn straight at the beginning, but it's a common thing that you see in every game, is the red barrel there. So we already know that red explosive, and in the distance you can already see that there's gonna be a platform here and some stairs going down, and that's probably where you're gonna go. So already from here you can tell those tile marks really helps to direct the player wherever the tile marks are going. And then we can already see that there is stuff going on here, so we can already assume just by looking at this that we're gonna go down this, and then I can see already the covers. There are covers there, covers there, the covers there. Another thing that really brings the eye to that location too is the use of this light, which is like highlighting this, and it's making this green floor more obvious. And then we also got a lot of leading lines. So we got this thing, that thing there. We have like this building here that has the silhouette broke by this thing, which attracts the eye. Plus we got the big spaceship on top of us that is probably going to that direction. One thing to remind is, if you place tile marks, like in this case here, we got here, make sure that they make sense. So don't place tile marks where vehicles cannot get to it. Like in this case, we can see we got this nice ramp here, and after that probably we got another ramp that is going down. In this case, having the tile marks makes sense because we got some base where vehicles can navigate. Always remember that. Don't just place tile marks on top of a stairs. This is like the main landmark, and you can see, you will probably be able to see these big mountains from all over this region, and that's a way to have the player familiarize with the area that they are, and to change the landscape, to change the silhouette, to change the horizon, so that they can make each area different and unique and have their own like main landmark kind of thing. Another thing that I can see right at the beginning here, some unique rock formation right here, like that, and then there is another rock here because of this line, because of that line, because of this line, and etc. That's where the player will go. Also, if we draw, like, it's very hard to control where the camera is gonna look for the player, because the player has full control of the camera, obviously, so they can look left or right. But in general, like in this case, we just came out from a gate, so that's a good opportunity for us to frame the view in a way that we can control, because we know that the player will go towards that direction. These sort of like enticing locations are very common in open world. To me, even if the road goes on the right side as it goes here, and it goes like next to it, to me this is like, ooh, what's inside there? And I go have a look, is there any loot? What can I see through that? And stuff like that. So you will see probably many geological feature in the open world that suggest that, or other POIs or other things that intrigued you and they make you want to explore more the environment. And that's like a common thing that we do. At the beginning, the door was locked, so you were forced to walk around the stairs, going up here, going there, or coming up here. You were forced to do that. And now that you're just coming out from the structure that we were before, now we are opening the door, which is creating movement, which is very attracting for the eye. So the eye is definitely looking at that. And I'm pretty sure some enemies will spawn behind the door, or they were spawned behind the door. Now they will walk inside and fight, as well as coming from there and there. These parts here that I can take, there are some cover there. There's this structure behind there that is protecting me from what's behind or whatever. I can probably climb that and go there. I got these 2 main covers. You got like a good visual, but you don't have the upper end. And then on here, you got the upper end. You got some cover here, explosive in case an enemy is coming close. You got things like that. And yeah, it's pretty readable. And this like coming out and the doors opening, it's giving your brain a bit of time to understand how you wanna tackle this situation. And another thing that I noticed is probably the faction dressing. I can see here there are 2 main colors in this space, which is this rusted, sanded, yellow, rusty color, and then we got this blue. Those could be two colors that you see often in the dressing of the POI where this faction that we are fighting with are present. It's very important to create a strong distinction between the factions so the players, you guys can learn how to behave against each faction. Even if this space is set in a post-apocalyptic world, that you can see elements of our world, like these branding elements, and all these branding elements really helps to connect whatever environment you're making with reality, the reality that we are living right now in the world. Concrete slabs all over the floor, and this grass is helping to break a bit that massive land of concrete sort of things. One thing that I want to point out is how nice the transition between this sort of red color is with this blue. So if you see here, you can see the gradient of the blue getting like very strong and then slowly fading and becoming red. And I think that's a very cool way to blend light colors together, either like cold and usually you blend cold and warm light to make this interesting gradient. How much the movement helps to make the space alive. So I don't know if obviously you can't see it moving now, but you can see here there is sort of a ceiling fan or something. It's coming from a light from the top, and you can see the volumetric fog here coming down. And this rotates. I don't know if it rotates that way or the other way. I don't remember. But yeah, that's a cool way to add a lot of details. We always try to add those sort of elements that moves, either like a piece of cloth moving with the wind, or a tree moving with the wind, or some ceiling fan spinning, or electricity sparking if you are like in a place that allows you to do that, or water dripping. All these kind of things really helps to make a space believable. And in this case, I think it's really effective because it's right in your face. The shadow and sort of the storytelling about it. I can see there is some sort of vendors or shop here. I don't know if it's selling food or selling equipment or something. You can see there is another animals hanging or something, but this looks like another small shop here. There's also stuff behind here that is connected to the shop. Probably the one that we are next to is also another shop here. So we got 1, 2, 3 shop. And that attracts the most is this one because of these like strong lights coming down here, and they're creating this interesting shadow on the NPCs. If we look at in terms of composition, I can see how if we draw like a line here and there, you can see how this part is like right there, and it's quite nice because you also have a lot of perspective lines guiding your eyes to there. So if I draw got some there. Got the floor here, we got the lights itself are leading you there, the pipe there, this other section here. You got plenty of elements, so it's definitely clear that you have to go to this location or like to continue to move in that direction. That I love seeing puddles. It helps to make the environment looks cool because you got this material contrast between the shiny here and then the rough material of the dirt or whatever surface is there. This light here, it makes sense because it's connected to this cable here that is probably connected to the other light, and it's probably connected to another source of power. Try to make logic out of the placement that you do. So if you place a light, make sure that it can have a source of power, and you can try to create some sort of cabling system, make it more believable, let's say. The enemies here are very well defined in terms of silhouette because they place a light right behind them, and by doing that they make the background of the character very bright, which create a very high contrast between the enemies and the background, which makes it easy to spot that the light coming from up there, and it's sort of getting in like that, creating this nice interesting volumetric fog, which is always really cool, and probably it's also moving. But not only does that, it also helps to get more details out of the scene, which is the silhouette of this pipe here and little thing here, this cable coming down.